guys? Mike here, head trader at True Trading Group. Listen up because you've got to hear this. Okay, you have to hear this. Today was really the tale of two tapes for me. Started off really bad, ended really good. I'm going to go over with you guys a really important mental lesson and then a real kick-ass technical lesson. I started things off with two losses on PRPO early in the morning. I got extremely frustrated. My emotions were running high. I was pissed. No way to sugarcoat it. I was flat out pissed. And I got up. I walked away. I stepped away from my computer. I cleared my head. Played with my dog a little bit. Had a glass of water. Came back, sat down with a clear mindset, refreshed, reset, emotions back under control. And it allowed me to absolutely crush an Amazon put option play for a 170% gain. And then later on in the afternoon, I caught a piece long of the Beyond Meat IPO today. Insane IPO. The thing priced at $25, opened at 46, and ran to like 72 or 73, something like that. Crazy move on that IPO. But I really attest the success of my day today to the fact that I was able to get up, walk away from my computer early in the morning because I was extremely frustrated and very pissed off with that PRPO. And that's what I want to talk to you guys really the most about to start this video before I get into the technical lesson, because this mental lesson is really important. And you need to hear it because nobody else is going to do this for you. You need to have the self-awareness to recognize when your emotions are out of control and you are not in the right mindset to trade. Because when that is the case and your emotions are running wild, you are the biggest danger to yourself. Revenge trading can blow up your entire account. I have seen it happen to many people. Do not let this happen to you. You must have the self-awareness to recognize when it's time for you to step away. And you have to have well, first of all, you've got to have the self-awareness to recognize that your emotions are out of control and your emotions are controlling you instead of you controlling your emotions. But you also have to have the self-discipline to actually get up and walk away. I mean, no one is going to do this for you. There's not someone sitting behind you that's going to tap you on the shoulder and go, hey, Mike, listen, it seems like you're kind of really pissed off right now. Maybe this isn't the best time for you to be trading. You should maybe get up and take a break. No one's going to do that for you. You need to do it for yourself. I cannot stress the importance of this. Mental capital is far more valuable than financial capital. It does not matter if you have $1,000 in your trading account or $1 million in your trading account. Without mental capital, it's worthless, because without mental capital, you will lose all of it. Okay? I cannot stress this enough, guys and girls. I cannot stress this enough. Okay? It's so important that this is discussed. A lot of people don't talk about this part of trading, and so much of trading is mental. Like 80% of trading is mental. Everybody sees the same chart. Everybody sees the same technical indicators. It's the mental aspect of trading that separates the great traders from the good ones. Okay, or the profitable traders from the ones that struggle. It's the mental part of it. And it's human nature to have emotions. It's human nature to get upset when you lose money. Nobody likes losing money. Okay, but you have to have the self-awareness to say to yourself, okay, I'm really pissed off right now. I've got to take a break. I'm not in a good state of mind, and I got to take a walk. Go to Starbucks, get a cup of coffee, go to Dunkin' Donuts, whatever. Go outside, go for a walk, have a glass of water, play with your dog. Whatever it is, okay? Reset, get your emotions back under control, then come back at your desk, sit down, and start fresh, because you never know when opportunity is going to present itself. Okay? You never know when opportunity is going to present itself. If I just waved the white flag and I gave up, threw my hands in the air and said, that's it, I'm done, early in the morning, I never would have capitalized on this Amazon trade and never would have capitalized on the Beyond Meat trade. Okay? And I really do think that had it not been for me taking that break, I don't think I execute the Amazon trade as well as I do. I certainly don't nail that Beyond Meat trade. Sorry about that, guys. My screen just tried to go to sleep. So sorry about that. But yeah, guys, I mean, it's really the importance of everything, you know, and I that's why I said in the beginning of this video, you got to listen up. You need to hear this because you really do. It's so important. It's so important. No one's going to do it. No one's going to do this for you. You have to do it yourself. Okay. So with that said, let's get to this Amazon trade, and we'll get to the technical aspect of this trade because it was a damn good one. And we're going to start things off with the SPY, because I came into the day today. It was Amazon was on my watch list. It was the pre-market game plan was Amazon puts. And let me tell you how I came up with that trade thesis. It starts with the SPY. Okay, yesterday we put in fresh all-time highs, and then when Fed Chairman Powell started speaking, the market sold off aggressively. Right into the close. We closed at the dead low of the day. Now, let's go to the daily chart. You guys see how strong of a red candle that got put in, right? With that strong of a red candle, where we actually made fresh all-time highs and then pulled all the way down, took out these two trading days, and closed at the dead low of the day, guys, that's bearish. And I was coming into the day today expecting continuation follow through to the downside on the overall market. So I'm coming into the day overall bearish on the SPY. That's first and foremost. I'm bearish on the overall market. I think we're going to extend lower after the sell-off that we had yesterday afternoon. So that's first and foremost. Then I look at the tech sector and I say, man, there's been a lot of tech stocks that have sold off recently. We'll start off obviously with Google. Okay, Google got crushed after a huge unexpected earnings miss. Okay, big gap down, and it continued to sell off much lower off that earnings miss. Then you had stocks that even beat earnings and still sold off. Twilio, TWLO, gapped up to all-time highs, and look at that reversal candle that got put in. So we gap up to all-time highs and then sell off aggressively. Then you go to AMD. AMD gapped up on earnings and sold off aggressively. So I'm starting to notice some weakness in tech. Okay, I'm starting to notice some weakness in tech. I have a bearish sentiment on the overall market coming into the day. So I'm going to look at the sector leader. You want to look at, if you have a sentiment on the overall market, you're going to want to look at sector leaders, guys. The stocks that are going to be most affected by a directional move in the overall market. So I go and I look at Amazon. Okay, I pull up Amazon and I say, okay, is there a technical pattern here that coincides with the bearish sentiment that I have on the overall market, and that coincides with some of the selling pressure that I've been seeing step into the tech sector? We go to a 15-minute chart, and long and behold, a beautiful textbook, picture perfect, head and shoulders pattern forms. Here is your neckline. Okay, here is your neckline. Here is your left shoulder. Here's your head. And here's your right shoulder. Notice that we went straight from the head down to test the neckline, back to form the right shoulder, and then we sold off back down right to that neckline. So when the SPY was selling off, when the overall market was selling off yesterday into the close, Amazon sold off right down where? Right to that neckline. So I said coming into the day today that if Amazon breaks below this neckline, I think it has a flush out move, because there's really not a lot of structure below 1900 until you get to a gap fill. Okay, this area had very little stock. Okay, you can see this support level that was here at 1900. Okay, there it was. Okay, and that also, okay, if we got below that 1900, I'm thinking to myself that we have a chance to get down to this level, which would fill this little gap up and get to these previous pivot highs. That was the game plan on the trade. You guys can see that's exactly what happened. You see we got right down into that area, and then we just kind of bounced around for the rest of the day. Okay? This is exactly how it happened. And you can see from in here with this big gap up and this push higher from Amazon, you can see just not a lot of structure here. So I thought if we got below 1900, we should accelerate, okay, on Amazon. And I'm thinking to myself, this is the perfect trade. All the stars are aligning, because if the overall market, if the SPY gets below Friday's low and accelerates to the downside, that'll pull Amazon below this neckline, and then you have this head and shoulders pattern triggers, and then you get the big rollover. Okay, we go back to the SPY. Now the SPY, you can see we had some support. Okay, yesterday's low, there was yesterday's low, right? And then you see how that coincided with this little previous pivot low. And I thought to myself, if we got below that on the SPY, our next stop should be right around 290.70. Previous support right here, and the low of the day from when we had the gap up day on the 23rd. So that was my target for the SPY. You can see we overshot that target by a lot, and then eventually recouped it, and then we just kind of traded sideways into the close. Okay, so we even went further down on the SPY than I originally even expected. Whenever you've got an opportunity, guys, to have a thesis on a trade on a sector leader like Amazon, or any other sector leader for that matter, and you've got clear direction in the overall market, that will help your trade, unless there's an isolated catalyst for the stock that you're trading. Like, if the SPY is weak, but Amazon has blowout earnings, then, that'll affect your trade. But when you've got an open normal day like this, where you're just free trading, and you can get a bearish move in the overall market or a bullish move, and that coincides with a really clean technical pattern on a sector leader, go after that sector leader, because you can use that. The overall move in the market will only help your trade. Okay, and that's exactly what we got on this Amazon trade. Okay, that's how I came up with the thesis for this trade. And once I spotted that head and shoulder pattern, I said, man, if we break below that head and shoulders, I'm going after it. Let me draw back this neckline for you one more time. Okay, here's the neckline. Okay, you guys can see support, 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 support. Now let's go to the intraday today. Let's zoom this in. Okay, so here you guys can see we open up, we find support right here. Okay, right at the neckline, and we bounce right off the neckline. Okay, I go ahead and I get short Amazon by the means of buying put options. Okay, I bought put options in Amazon. Let's go to my trade announcements on the day. It's loading. There we go. Let me zoom in for you. All right, here, there we go. So you guys can see at 9:52, bought Amazon 1900 strike, May 3rd expiration put options at 578. Okay, my stop loss is if Amazon gets above 1923. Why 1923? Where did I get that number from? Right here. Okay, you guys can see this prior level of support was meaningful. We broke below it yesterday afternoon. We bounced back, tried to get above it, and you can see we got denied and then sold off into the close. I don't think it's a coincidence that the high of the day today lines up right with this 1922 area, and you can see we kind of double topped there today, and then we rolled it over. Even as I pan this out, guys, and I go even further back, you can see more support there, and as I go back even further, even more support there. So this 1922 level was significant for Amazon. It's showing you that it has an effect, okay, on the price action of the stock. Okay, so that's why my stop loss was going to be right above that level. We never got above that level. I had to deal with a little bit of a spike, and I got a little nervous here when we got this double top. But once we double topped and we rolled it over, guys, I knew I was in the clear. I knew I was in the clear, and as soon as we break below that neckline, it was game on. And it's no coincidence, guys. Look, we break below the neckline right here. We break below the neckline. We bounce back up, retest the neckline. That was one support. Bang, we now find its resistance, and the sell-off ensues. And that's exactly what I was expecting, for us to break below the neckline and then accelerate to the downside. And you can see how quickly Amazon dropped after we got below that neckline, and it was a picture perfect trade. Take you back to my trade announcements. Here you guys can see at 11 a.m. I took some profit off at 8:15. At 11:25, I sold the bulk of my position at 10:13. And at 11:43, my final take profit on the Amazon 1900 strike, May 3rd expiration put options at 1560 for a 170% gain. Absolute beauty. all the stars aligned for this trade, made back well more than what I lost on the PRPO trades in the morning, and brought me well into the green. And then the day started off terrible, and now I'm sitting here to myself. I just crushed this trade. I'm super stoked. I'm pumped. So many people in chat caught this trade also. Some people, the Amazon options, they felt there was a little bit too much premium on them. They were, maybe too high priced for some people. They went after SPY put options. Some people went after the QQQ, which is the NASDAQ. They went after put options in that. Some people went after, other tech plays. But it's still the same trade idea. It's still the same concept. And a lot of people capitalized on this move. Just awesome. Just absolutely awesome. I was really super stoked. But really, guys, this is not possible without me stepping away from my computer and regathering myself, because even though I entered this trade prior to me stepping away from my computer to kind of regroup myself, I would not have been able to execute this trade as well as I did had I not cleared my head. And if I continued to just trade like an animal and I was revenge trading, maybe I take another loss, and maybe this Amazon trade doesn't bring me into the green. It just brings me flat or something like that. Okay, so I'm really, really pleased with myself for executing on this Amazon trade as well as I did, but mostly, guys, having the self-awareness and self-discipline to recognize that my emotions were out of control, and having the discipline to get up and walk away and regather my thoughts and reset. Okay, because you never know when opportunity is going to present itself, just like this Amazon trade worked out beautifully. Then we had Beyond Meat, BYND. This wasn't a big trade, guys, but I added to my gains off of a beautiful bullish pennant pattern. This is a clean bullish pennant pattern. Okay, I haven't seen an IPO trade like this in a while, guys. This thing, the IPO price was 25. It opened at 46 and went as high as 72.95. That's nuts. Okay, so I'll take you guys to my announcements in a moment. Once I noticed that we had this bullish pennant pattern going on, I entered a tier 1 position. I had to break my trade announcements up in pieces, guys. So here you guys can see at 138 long. Let me zoom in. Long a tier 1 position at 60.54. I'm going to add tier 2 through 61.75. So tier 1 at 60.54. Back to the chart. So there's the tier 1. There's the tier 2, and I just took some profits off up into this move. Okay, not a home run trade. You guys can see. Took some profit 63. Took more off at 63. And then I sold out the rest at 61.54 when it started to pull itself back in a little bit. I got shaken out on that last piece, actually. I'm sorry, guys. So here's my take profits. And then on that pullback, I got shaken out of my last piece on that pullback. I kind of felt silly about it. But I thought that we double topped there for a second. So you can see, see how we look like we double topped there for a second. I thought this IPO was just going so crazy. I didn't want to get caught in like a quick pullback, so I ended up bailing on that last piece, and then I just continued higher. So I could have made a lot more on the trade, but again, I was just adding to the day. Super happy with the day, happy with the trade. But really, the story of the day, guys, is the Amazon trade and the mental lesson that we talked about earlier. So I hope that you guys are going to get a lot of value from this video, because it's so important to talk about this stuff. And I cover this stuff with our members every single day. The mental part of trading is really where the invaluable lessons come from. Anybody, you can go online and look up bull flag or Fibonacci levels and read, how to use these indicators. But it's the mental aspects that you really need to hear from someone. Guys, I've been doing this for 14 years. I started my career working at a hedge fund. In 2008, I won a Trader of the Year award at that fund. That's where I got things started. But I was a nutcase early in my career. There was actually a moment when I was working at the fund that I was so pissed off. I stood up from my trade station and I snapped my keyboard in half. Space bar, the P button, letter Q, they all went flying. I had to scream to our IT guy to bring me another keyboard because I had open positions. And I was a maniac when I was younger. And it wasn't until I got my emotions under control that I really took the next step, and I really developed into the trader that I am today. And it's important to cover these aspects, because everybody goes through it, but not a lot of people talk about it. So I hope you guys got some value from this video. I'll see you guys in chat.